Hey y'all, welcome back to the newest Team LoCoFit roundtable with myself, Lauren Conlon. I hate introducing myself, but I feel like sometimes people might be tuning in who don't know who we are. So I'm Lauren Conlon. I'm going to get this one day. With the other Team LoCoFit coaches, Jillian, Karina, and Lauren, other Lauren, blonde. And Ryan is unfortunately not here. If you're not watching, you can't see that. But the big bear is at work, and we just couldn't make it work this week. But here's here in presence. Actually, he's just doing other things, and let's be honest. But I have taken his seat today in the chair, so I will not be moving like I normally do. But in any case, today's topic, we're actually just going to cover one thing today, but it's going to be really nuanced because there's so many different ways that we could talk about this really. And it's something that really what came about this was like, hey, like, what should we talk about today? And normally we all have like a few ideas, but we've all been really busy. So we were like, okay, should we talk about this? And then we were obviously making jokes, which we could definitely talk about the jokes because I think that would be valuable. Well, serious value. I mean, like, I know it's a joke, but not really. Star Wars is important. But for the real topic today is going to be, how do you balance your diet and fitness and just really all your health goals when you're busy? So all of us are very busy in our own right now. And I mean, generally we are, but it's just been kind of one of those weeks where it's just like everything's just kind of catching up for really the past few weeks for all of us. So, and obviously we coach a lot of people who are busy most of the time. People, I think a lot of barrier to entry for a lot of fitness goals is people think that like the only people who are like fit or lean or have a good relationship with food or work out a lot are people who just have like nothing else to do with their life. And that's really like couldn't be farther from the truth. Most people have like careers, most people have families or significant others or just other things that they want to do. So they're not going to be spending 3 hours in the gym unless they're a professional athlete. When in that case, they might. But generally speaking, those people, like, that is part of their career, because hence professional athletes. So not like a professional bodybuilder, let's be honest, besides like 5, bodybuilders. So all that to say, what's my first one? It's actually kind of related to a post that I made today, and it's really understanding where your total energy is and what you're doing. So let's say you're traveling, like I'm going to talk about the traveling example because I was just on the road for 15 days. And in that time frame, I'm going to a bunch of different cities. I'm sleeping in, obviously, not my bed. I'm sleeping a lot less. And the whole time that I was there, I was still doing all of my work, and I was very busy socially. So either I was speaking at a seminar, or I was at an expo, or I was at just out meeting people. So you're very active in that way of just like communicating and doing things. And then on top of just being regularly physically active, that didn't leave as much time for the gym. And I don't know about you guys, but if I do too much and I don't recover, I get sick. And I was like, the literal last thing I want to do right now is get sick when I have all these planes that I need to be on. And I don't want to go into that situation with like a lowered immune system, right? So for me, it's when I'm traveling a lot and I'm really busy due to travel, you just have to time manage better. And you can either front load training or back load training, or really you just have to say sometimes like, hey, I'm going to take like a whole extra day off that I normally wouldn't have. And that's okay. I'm going to stop talking. I feel like that was like a really long intro, and everybody's like, wow, Lauren, are there other people on the podcast? Is this just your podcast? So somebody raise their hand and chime in, because whoo.
Well, yeah, time management here is going to be huge. I learned that from all the way back in high school. I had to start doing that because I was getting up at 5 a.m. I was commuting a total of like 3 or 3.5 hours a day to school. I was getting home late, and then on top of that, I had schoolwork, I had workouts to do, I had to sleep, I had to eat. So I got into that very early on, and I have been that way ever since. And it honestly is probably a strong point for me where I can actually like manage my day and plan ahead and know where my time is going and prioritize certain things. So when things do get hectic, I always tell my clients, really just take a day and block out the big things that are coming up in that week. That way you can really just know where your time is going. And then you can even see in your schedule, hey, I have an hour and a half, 2 hours on this day that I could put training in, or I have the whole weekend where I could take advantage of to get some more important things done. So
like, give an example of like, like your week right now, Jill, with like everything going on.
Yeah. So for me, For me, things are pretty crazy. So I have, classes 2 nights a week. I'm training a few clients at the rec every week. Some of them want to train more than once a week. So I have to really block out I have my calendar right in front of me over here. I have my mornings blocked out for training, and then I get to train, and then I got to go home. I got to take care of my dog, and then I go to class. And then Fridays are literally back-to-back meetings. So I have, I wake up at 6:30. I take Anakin to daycare. I go probably get my training in, and then I have back-to-back meetings
For the
that I
lab,
go
right?
to. What?
For the lab, right? Or like
Yeah,
research.
so research lab, and then right after that, I have a physique science club meeting, and then right after that, I train another client, so I have some afternoons blocked out for PT, and then in there will be thrown some rec staff meetings Friday night. So literally just back to back on the go. And then also another point here that works for me lately is just having having some kind of meal prep ready to go. So I've been ordering icon meals like every other week now, and for Fridays especially, I could just throw them in my bag, and I could be out of the house for like 6 to 8 hours at a time, and not have to worry about, oh my God, like I'm in prep. How am I going to manage this when I have everything prepared for the day?
Yeah, so in that instance, it's really easy to, and obviously, you've been doing this for a while and you have goals, but it's really easy when you get busy to just be like, I won't bring my meal, or like I'll just figure something out on campus, right? Because there's food everywhere on campus. And so similarly, if somebody's listening and they're doing this like with work, right? Like they're really busy and they're like, oh, I'll just go grab lunch, right? And then like, oh, well, I'll do this later, and they don't plan their workout, so then it's like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. And it's like, not saying that in a condescending way at all. Like I've done that a million times where you just like get really busy, and if you don't have it like roughly planned out, it's just going to be really hard to actually execute on it. So having time management skills doesn't necessarily mean just managing your day. It means also just managing your week and setting up these kind of things like, hey, when am I going to train? What food am I going to eat? And, making things easier on yourself when, things are busier. So for a day when you're out of the house a lot, it doesn't make sense to just like wing it, and obviously you have the luxury of going home more than other people would have during a week typically. Unlike what Lauren's going through right now, other Lauren, not of the third person. And you can touch on that, Lauren, like how, you set your day up because like you're out of the house literally all day. So some people are going to have variable schedules where they can go back and forth, and sometimes that's actually harder. Sometimes it can be easier. But even if you are at home a lot, you still have to have some kind of structure, which I think me and Karina can talk about too in a little bit. But Lauren, so go on to kind of like, so like Jill, okay, like time blocking and, making sure that things are prepped. So like for Lauren right now, like kind of explain your situation.
Yeah, so I am gone from about 4 a.m. until about 5:30 p.m. And then when I'm done with that, like I'm doing clients or I'm doing homework. So at that point, yes, I have returned home after like 13 hours, but I'm still busy. And the last thing that I want to do is think about my food and all of that stuff. So I do everything ahead of time as well. And what I'll say is when you are busy in this way, it is so easy to just say, like, to make up every excuse under the sun to not do things. And it is not easy. And there's a reason that not everyone is successful with this stuff. And that's not a knock on anybody, but there is a reason for it, because it literally takes, and I've been doing this for years, and it still takes a decent amount of my time to, block out my week. I now have it to the point where I've just designated Saturday is my meal prep day. That way Sunday is completely dedicated to research and work. So Saturday I go to the store, I buy all my food, I make all my food, I put it all in Tupperware. It's in my fridge or my freezer, depending on how long, obviously, I need to go. That's done. I literally write on my calendar every week, CrossFit 5 a.m., cardio 5 a.m., whatever it is. So you almost make it like an appointment for yourself. And then I fill in everything else as well. So that's kind of, and I will say too, you have to make it a priority. And sometimes that means saying no to other things, and that's okay. But I also wanted to point out the fact that Lauren was saying that while she was gone, not getting sick was the priority. That doesn't mean that she's not into her health and not into her fitness because she didn't go to the gym a couple of days. So I just wanted to point that out. Like I sit here and say, like, it's about priorities. And if you really prioritize your health, you'll get these things done. But it is okay if sometimes that's not the priority, but I just hope that everybody can say it out loud. So if you're not making your food, if you're not going to the gym and you're able to say, this is not the priority right now, and that sits okay with you, then great. That's fine. But if you say that and that doesn't sit okay with you, then you're going to have to do something about it. And it's probably not going to be super easy. And for me, my schedule changes usually weekly, if not bi-weekly. So when I need to be, some days I will have to leave straight from CrossFit, which means I don't get to shower all day. So it's just like little things that you kind of have to, it's like a little give and take.
One of my clients actually sent me these shower wipes, and I'll send you
Yes.
The name because they were really helpful. She's like, because with all your travels, like you don't know what you like where you're gonna be, and like what's gonna happen. When I was on a plane for like 10 years, needed a little freshen up because I couldn't shower.
Yes.
So I will definitely send you the link so you don't have to like feel like that person all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, the priorities of where I was at. Okay, I'm gone for this stretch of time, and I need to make sure that I'm not sick so that I can show up and do the job that I'm meant to do while I'm traveling to these places, right? That is my priority. That doesn't mean that I was like, fuck, just want to be lazy, don't want to work out. Now, this week, am I still tired? Yeah, but I'm getting my ass to work out. That's when it kind of shifts. Like it's a difference of, okay, like I'm prioritizing this for 2 weeks, and then now, guess what? I'm right back on it. Versus if you're letting the days and the weeks slip away because you're not making a priority, now you've gotten completely out of that habit, and now you're into a bad habit. Because it's just because we all are into health and fitness does not mean that we want to go to the gym every day, and does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that we want to eat super healthy every day. There's some days that you're going to want to eat very, very little because you're just busy. Other days you're going to want to overeat, and then some days you're just going to want to eat not a lot, but just shit. You're like, nothing really sounds good besides, like a pizza, which that doesn't sound good to me, but for everybody else. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of understanding the priorities, but also like being realistic with it, which I think is really important, because if you're just going to sit there and say like, oh no, like I can do all these things all the time, it's not going to work. And then you could run yourself into the ground. You could, have these issues. Lauren, what were you going to say?
I just wanted to say too, like giving yourself time to adjust as well, but in that adjustment period, not letting that be yet another excuse. Like, this is hard. I'm having trouble adjusting. I just went through this when my schedule changed. I've been doing this for years. It's taken me now 7 weeks to finally feel like I'm starting to pin down the habits that I need to best execute a consistent routine with the lack of consistency that I have with my schedule. And I just want people to understand that that is okay, but to not get so discouraged that it essentially discourages you from continuing moving forward to develop those behaviors, because they will come. And once you get one thing solidified, so I decided I was going to meal prep on Saturday. Great. Now that's taken care of. So when am I going to train? Move on to the next thing. But I did the thing that I always do, which is I tried to attack everything at once the first 2 weeks. And then I was just spinning my wheels, and I was exhausted, and I was not finding any consistency. So I was doing the opposite of what I wanted to do. So taking a step back, controlling one thing at a time, and not getting frustrated when it doesn't go 100% smooth the first week, 2 weeks, 7 weeks.
Yeah, and that kind of reminds me of something I always talk to my clients. I find myself bringing this up a lot with, just crazy schedules or weeks where like life is just literally throwing everything at you every day, and you're just like, I can't catch a break. I always remind my clients, like, take the things that you can control, your nutrition or your sleep or your cardio or any of that. And control what you can with what you're given in that time frame, because these crazy weeks come and go, and it's going to be temporary. But if you can control what you can, that's going to keep you grounded, and that's going to keep you focused when everything around you is out of control.
Trina's like,
that's where most people's anxiety stems from, and then that's when they crumble. You know what I mean? Because they're not. They think that if they had a week where like Lauren, you're rotating a lot right now with different stuff, or Jill, there might be a new meeting or a client that's like, hey, can you come in right now? Or like, oh, I canceled, or something like that. Those are uncontrollable things. So that's going to be frustrating, but like worrying about that frustration and like letting that throw you off, let that roll off, because now you have all these other habits that are in place. You're good to go. You still get those done, and now you just kind of pivot. So Karina, what were you going to?
Yeah, I was just going to touch on kind of what Lauren and Jillian just said, and how I kind of implement this with clients who are kind of starting out with trying to take on all these new habits. And if you're just, not hitting everything we lay out for you, just regressing, those goals. Like maybe it's not macronutrient targets, like maybe it's just getting in like 3 servings of vegetables a day, or maybe it's just getting in like cardio 3 times a week and just starting there.
Yeah, we literally just talked about this, right? Like that's like so are resistant to that because they want to do, they're like, no, I'm doing 0, but I want to do 30 new things. We're like, well, we got to do 3 first.
Right. Yeah, we get clients all the time who want to go from like 0 to complex right away, rather than go 0, simple, and then build upon that, and then out of the gate, it's extremely discouraging, because I love that people are very excited to try to do absolutely everything at once, but you're not going to be good at those things if you didn't build up those foundational habits beforehand. So yeah, sometimes I'm like, I get a client who's like, I can train 7 days a week, 3 hours a day, and do cardio every day. And then I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do, let's do it. And they're like, I can't do it. We just have to regress and start simple. Like, I love the enthusiasm, but we have to be realistic, because I also don't want people to get discouraged right out of the gate.
I was kind of going to touch on that as well, because that's something that I have done with a couple of my clients. And I think that one thing that I like to do, just because it still gives the feeling of some structure, and I think that it still is important for long-term goals, because a lot of our clients are physique-oriented or strength-oriented athletes, is just dropping back to tracking protein intake, just to make sure that you're getting that up to a high enough level, but not tracking fat and carbs. Because sometimes when you are so stressed out, the thought of but tracking your food and doing all of that is just an extra stressor. It's the last thing that I want, because then everything else goes to shit. Then you are not sleeping, and then you're afraid to get on the scale, so you're even more stressed out, and your cortisol is high. So that just leads to a huge cascade. And I find that a lot of times when we drop back and just set that protein target, it's all good. Like the next couple of weeks, the mentality reports are way better, the sleep's better, and you don't really understand how much gets bundled up into that. And so removing a bit, because you can't necessarily switch jobs all the time. You can't necessarily do this or that all the time, but something that we can control is our training, our nutrition. So we just have to kind of tweak all of that and find what's going to work best for you in those phases, and just recognizing that those phases probably aren't going to last forever. Like some of these things are very temporary. I know my situation is temporary, although it feels like 14 years, it's 10 months. So you just have to make do with what you have and do the best that you can, and not be attached to being perfect, because you're never going to have that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to touch on that in another podcast. And because I think some people think that when they're not tracking 3 numbers, that they can't track anything else. And this is something that over the years of coaching, it's taken me a long time to figure this out. But I guess I'm pretty dense. I don't know. But I found that some people put such a high pedestal for these 3 numbers. Yep. And then everything else kind of falls apart, and they don't really know how to eat without that. And then everything else really isn't in place. So that's a whole other discussion that we're going to get to. But yes, everybody listening, we will be talking about that and kind of just transitioning in and out of tracking macros. But something that I had to change on the intake form on our website was how many days a week and how long can you train? Not what you want to do, but what you can actually do. Because people send 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's first of all, I don't know anybody who really actually does that well or has that time, that I would not want them doing something else with their life. You know what I mean? Like even if you have 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'd probably rather you be doing something else outside of the gym just to like make yourself a better person than just like be at the gym. Now, obviously extremes, end of a contest prep, doing a good amount of cardio. Hey, you got to get it done. But that's not an everyday kind of thing, right? And that's a very small little piece of the puzzle for one certain population. So yeah, it's so interesting. And yeah, we love the enthusiasm that everybody wants to do stuff. But you have to realize like balancing all of these goals is just that. And I know balance is just like plastered everywhere on top of everything, everywhere nowadays. But in reality, you really do, there is a fine line of how much that you can do, because we still want you to be successful. And they're going from zero to either being at one full end or like one other end is not really, it's not sustainable whatsoever. And our goal as coaches is to build habits for your life, which is not sexy. It's hard to talk about. It's hard to sell. I get it. We're still reaching your goals while we're doing this, but you're actually going to be a sane person to do it. Jill?
Oh yeah, it's basically just piggybacking off of that exactly, because that's the thing with lifestyle coaching. You know, it's not about, you know, getting somewhere as fast as we can. It's about building those habits, and you know, getting those tools that you can use to sustain this change long term, so that then you can then get to that long term goal of whatever it is: body recomposition, weight loss, etc. And you know, the good thing there is that you know, it's a process. It's a long process where you kind of have to expect that, you know, there's more than one moving part here to keep that going long term. And I lost the other thing I was going to say. So
you're like, there's a lot of moving things also in my brain that are
also it's like back here somewhere. It's
going to come forward.
I'll probably remember at like 9 p.m.
when you're going to take a shower before you go to bed. Yeah, you're just like, oh, wait. Actually, wait. We all know you're not going to wash your hair. It's fine. I don't know why I pretended like I was going to wash the hair. We all know nobody washes their hair like once a week. Or is that just me?
No, once a week. Once every 8 days.
I'm like, whoa. Okay, I can't do that. Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Did I? No.
All right. You definitely like crossed the line there.
You're like,
also,
everyone just like looks at her like,
7 days is like cool.
Okay,
8 days is like,
like
that is what dry shampoo is for.
Yeah, no, black
dry
hair,
shampoo.
can't do that shit.
Oh, true.
After like 2 days, my hair looks greasy. I just rock with it. But yeah, dark hair, you cannot get away with that shit. You blondies.
Yeah, fuck you guys and your judgment.
Well,
we're headbands.
But the other things to talk about.
13-hour days. You know what I'm saying?
So when we were throwing around ideas, and just as we want to talk about this, everybody leave us comments to see if we're just the only weird nerdy ones. But is anybody else super excited for the new Star Wars based on the new preview, which Ryan just sent me, and I was like, yo, I saw this like a few weeks ago on my YouTube somehow. I don't know. Weird shit just comes up on my YouTube. Like, not that Star Wars.
I mean, weird. You should see my Explore box.
Well, actually, yeah, I don't want to see yours.
Oh my God.
I fall into some weird deep holes on YouTube, man. I don't know. That can be a whole other.
That's just like everyone's like her Explore page on YouTube. Actually, yeah, mine's like semi-acceptable, but like also random. But yeah, the new Star Wars is coming out. Major excitement. The new Joker movie, which also looks creepy, is coming out. I think that's like soon, right?
The 4th, October 4th.
Ooh, that's like
on the 4th.
That's like this weekend.
I think so. Now I'm worried that I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure.
Got all excited.
Everybody's gonna. First it's 8 days without washing your hair. Now you're getting the dates wrong. I mean, I don't know. You might be off.
I literally drop the ball on every podcast with something, at least one thing, if not two.
So
fine.
So that's first and foremost. We're very excited, and obviously we're all kind of nerds. But then also just pumpkin spice culture. Everybody can give their favorite fall thing that they'd like to.
Oh ready? My God.
Jill just starts like drinking out of the tub.
Literally, that like, did you pull that out of your fucking pocket?
It's like literally just sitting on my counter right here. I like to look at it, you know.
Okay.
He's like, just in case pumpkin spice comes up today.
No shit. That is the best protein flavor. Like,
is it? I just got the blueberry muffin, so I haven't tried the pumpkin spice.
Blueberry is the best non-seasonal.
Okay.
And
Pumpkin down my favorite.
So we're talking about First Form Level 1, which is like the king of all protein powders. Yes. Fight me, I don't care.
Absolutely.
Really good quality, but also like the best mixability you've ever had. No weird digestion. So they have really, yeah, they like goes with everything. They make like banging flavors, right? So the blueberry muffin is like killer. It keeps going out of stock like every time they put it up. But they have like seasonal releases too. So the last year or 2 years ago, I can't remember. They came out with pumpkin spice latte, and I was like, okay. What? It literally is the best pumpkin like flavor you've had. It goes perfect with the coffee, oats, pancake, like just drinking it. Oh my god.
I have to have it like twice a day at this point. I just have to.
Karina is struggling, everybody, but
I'm dieting, but yeah.
Karina's like, she's so far away from her computer. She just looks like she's.
I'm ready to go to bed. Like right after this, I'm crawling into bed.
Also,
I haven't talked very much because I only have so much energy.
Hey guys, it's 7:00. If you guys are wondering,
you have to know that Delight's had a pumpkin spice latte flavor this weekend.
I saw it. Oh, they have it.
It was
tomorrow.
On point.
I feel like Jill's gonna go back with a bag of pumpkin spice level 1 to mix into her pumpkin spice. I mean, there's an idea.
Cake and do like a ice cream in a cake.
Oh, that would.
Ooh, yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 girls on prep. We have 1 girl on keto. This makes absolutely zero fucking sense that we're talking about this.
But hey, pumpkin spice latte protein is unifying across all diets.
It is.
That is like the other message of the week, is that no matter what you're doing in your life, no matter what you're eating, you can have some level 1 pumpkin spice latte. So seriously, guys.
After my prep, I'm straight up having a pumpkin spice party at my house.
Yeah.
Literally only pumpkin spice food. And
only
Hell yeah.
Karina said this, and I was like, I'm slightly concerned, but I've been.
But also,
I'll stick with it, obviously. But yeah, so pumpkin spice things are officially full blown. We're recording this on October 1st, so it is fall, everybody.
Officially basic bitch season.
It's like 10,000 degrees here, but whatever. So pumpkin spice latte from First Form. If you have not already gotten that, go do it. It will sell out and it won't come back. So yeah, that's what it looks like. They did just come out with the bars too, which I'm having sent. I haven't gotten them in yet, but based on everybody's like videos, they're like killer. And then me and Karina just did a Trader Joe's run the other day, and they have like all, obviously the fall things, but the shout out to the cauliflower butternut squash risotto.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's keto friendly, diet friendly. I mean, it's cauliflower rice, guys. It's not that exciting, but it's
the flavor is.
Yeah, the flavor's on point. It's still cauliflower rice. Don't be fooled, but it is pretty.
It's so
pretty
good.
bomb. Yeah. Oh my god, it's like the best thing. You live and need real rice. Just kidding. Way better than cauliflower.
Oh god, I hate people.
Yeah, like don't ever trust anybody who's like cauliflower rice tastes better than real rice. In a hot minute.
I added cauliflower rice back in.
She's never had rice.
I added cauliflower rice back in a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, this cauliflower rice did me dirty because I have not needed to eat this in a long ass time.
Yeah, it is good, but then it's like I'm still eating cauliflower. You're like, but definitely get that one. What were the other things that we got that were fall?
Have the coffee yet?
Yeah, it's pretty good. The Home Goods coffee, the Home Goods pumpkin pie coffee is still. If you guys have a Home Goods. And so it literally is like a picture of a pie on the front, and it just says like pumpkin pie. I think it's like, I don't know.
It's called Sweetie Pie.
Sweetie Pie, pumpkin pie. It literally tastes. It doesn't taste like pumpkin spice. It tastes like pumpkin pie. I don't know what they did, but it's magical. So that's really good. But the Trader Joe's one is pretty good. But the other one just has me like at this. It's just like up here,
Have you tried the spaghetti squash spirals yet?
Not yet. So yeah, there was spaghetti squash, which I think also had butternut squash in it too. Like it had something that made it fall.
Yeah.
So that was in the freezer section. Oh, the non-dieters. I did get the Halloween JoJo's, which is basically like the Trader Joe's version of Halloween Oreos.
Mm-hmm. Really good?
Oh my God, I can't stop eating. They're so good. They have like this, like they're just very, they're just different. They're just so good. I've never had them. The lady was sampling them. I should have never taken the sample because now I bought them and now I'm eating way too many of them. But they're
another not super pumpkin related, although it kind of looks like a pumpkin. My favorite like fall food is acorn squash. There's like 1,000 ways to cook it, and it's just a little bit different tasting than like a butternut squash or a spaghetti squash. So I really like those. I know most people probably won't put like brown sugar on it, but just even like a little bit with that and some butter is like super good. But you can also cook it more like savory. It doesn't have to be sweet. So I really, really like the acorn squash. And if you're dieting, you can have a decent amount of it for not very much carbs. So I always had acorn squash when I was on prep, and I really, really liked it. It's filling, but it's not a lot of carb.
Yeah, fall is the jam for squashes. What, Karina?
I think her
like is her sound off again? She's like she looks.
I think she muted us.
No, I didn't.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know.
What were you confused
I
about?
just wanted to know what acorn squash tastes like. I've
You
never
never had
it before.
You've never had it? Oh,
No.
Karina, you should go get one. They're really good.
It's not like it tastes like squash.
I mean, it doesn't taste like a fucking cake, but yes, it tastes like a vegetable, but it's good.
I don't want it then.
Who knows?
It doesn't taste like cake.
Did I lose everybody again? Again?
If squash doesn't taste like a cake, I'm fucking
I'm not
up.
even here.
Yeah.
I lose all of my clients.
Last fall thing. Apples are back, which everybody loves apples. Duh. Well, not everybody, but I love apples. So definitely favorites to get if you see these. I mean, everybody knows Pink Ladies. Duh. Honeycrisps are not as good as Pink Ladies.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they're my favorite apple.
Pink Lady, number one. But a hard second is Kanzi, which I've only ever found at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. Yeah. And then when we were at Trader Joe's, I also found this thing. It was called a rave apple. Yes. And it was like a hybrid of 2 apples, and it's really good. So it's a little more red looking, so I was kind of concerned that it was like a red delicious. It's not. It's very like sweet and tart. So highly recommend. So yeah.
Not apple related. Well, sort of. But at Trader Joe's also, just because we're talking about Trader Joe's and like stuff that we find there, kind of fall related. They have like a pre-made quinoa cranberry, and I think there's apples in it, like almost like a salad thing. But it's literally, again, for dieters, I want to say it's like 19 grams of carbs for like the one serving, and it's already made. So that's something good too. If you're looking to kind of meal prep ahead, you can buy the whole container and separate it out into servings, and it's mixed up, and you can add some protein. You're good to go. So that one's really good too.
Trader Joe's is the jam, man.
Trader Joe's knows what's up.
It's so far from us, but I still go. I'm like, whatever this is.
Dude, I have one a mile away. It straight up takes me like 10 minutes to get there because of where I fucking.
Oh, yeah.
The stoplights are like. I'm like, I can see it. I can see it.
You can walk faster, but
yeah,
you can literally walk faster, but you have too many groceries, so you can't.
Right. Exactly.
Well, slight derail, but I'm not mad about it. Pumpkin culture is strong. It's October, so we're gonna roll with it. If you guys have any other pumpkin or fall suggestions, please let us know because we're always down. And apparently, we need to get Karina an acorn squash stat. And seriously, if you guys haven't gotten pumpkin spice latte level 1, go do it. It is the best pumpkin you will ever taste, like best pumpkin protein, hands down. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you could please leave a review, that would help us so that other people can see us blabbling and educating. 5-star. If not, I mean, whatever, it's fine. But I mean, Jill saying 10, I don't know if that's even possible.
You're wrong.
Yeah. I mean, maybe a 10-star if it's an option. Share it, all that jazz. Basically just trying to spread. Anyways, we don't edit, so I'm not going to edit that out. But thank you for listening and check. I will see you guys next week. I'm just cutting myself off. Bye.
Oh, God.
What?